Known as the Sultry Girl Next Door, unassumingly radiant, and the original first Black Cinderella, she had a career full of promise with a trajectory that rivaled the likes of Dorothy Dandridge, Lena Horne, and Ruby Dee. A Broadway and film actress with natural talent who was slated to be one of the biggest stars of the 1940s and 1950s. But unfortunately, her career came to an abrupt halt. So who was she and what happened? Well, this is the story of Sheila Guyse. Let's get into it. Hi, my name is Tammy and welcome back to my channel. So if you are new here or if you've been following me, then you should know that one of the things that I do like to discuss on this channel is one of my favorite eras, the old Hollywood glamour from the 1940s and the 1950s. And today we're going to discuss an actress that you may not have known about. She contributed a lot to the entertainment industry, but not a lot of people know her story. So today we're going to dig into the life of Sheila Guyse. So let's begin. Sheila Guyse was born Etta Drusille Guyse on July 14, 1925. She was an American singer and actress who performed on stage and screen during the 1940s and 1950s. She was born in Forest, Mississippi. Her parents were Wilbert Vincent and Ethel Williams. They separated shortly after she was born, leaving Sheila to be raised by her paternal grandparents, Charity and Fred Guyse. Sheila Guyse attended the Scott County Vocational School in Mississippi, where she developed an interest in singing. In 1945, Sheila moved to New York to pursue her dreams. It was even said that she roomed with Billie Holiday for a short time before eventually moving to Manhattan, New York, to live with her father and stepmother. Sheila got her first job at a dime store on 125th Street across from the Apollo Theater. And a dime store during that time was a type of retail store that sold a wide variety of inexpensive household goods and other items, typically priced at 5 or 10 cents. Sheila's love and ambition to entertain grew as she wanted to purchase a $25 dress, which is equivalent to around $563 today. So she entered into her first talent show at the Apollo Theater and she won first place. And she also won the coveted $25. She then began performing at amateur shows. She was then cast as the female lead in a Broadway production of Memphis Bound, starring opposite of Billy Bojangles Robinson in 1945. The show had a great run and closed after 36 performances. She also appeared in the Broadway stage productions of Lost in the Stars and Finian's Rainbow, which were long-running shows as well. Lost in the Stars won an Outer Circle Critics Award. The Outer Critics Circle Awards are presented annually for theatrical achievements on both Broadway and off-Broadway. Guyse contributed to the cast recordings for these productions. Also in 1945, she made her first nightclub appearance at Club Zombie in Detroit, where she caught the attention of Shelby Irving Miller, a druggist clerk and tailor. The two married on March 18th in 1946 in Hamilton, Indiana, and moved to Indianapolis. Sheila Guyse then began working in the film industry. She worked on independent all-black films known at the time as race films, which were films from a period of American cinema roughly from 1915 to 1948, when independent African-American filmmakers created and distributed films specifically for black audiences. These films, often featuring all-black casts and addressing themes of African-American identity and experience, operated outside of the mainstream Hollywood system due to racial segregation in theaters and the limited portrayals of black characters in mainstream films. With no formal training, Sheila was described as a natural talent and known for her slender figure and sultry voice, and often compared to the likes of Dorothy Dandridge, Lena Horne, and Ruby Dee. Sheila's Sultry Girl Next Door appeal garnered her roles in films such as Boy, What a Girl in 1947, Sepia Cinderella in 1947 as well, co-starring with Billy Daniels, Miracle in Harlem in 1948, Harlem Follies in 1949, and a television adaptation of the play The Green Pastures in 1957, where she was then nominated for an Emmy for Best Actress in a Single Program. But perhaps her most notable role was when she portrayed Barbara, a Cinderella-type character in the movie Sepia Cinderella, a film about a struggling songwriter named Bob who finds a muse in his girlfriend Barbara, played by Sheila Guyse, who inspires him to write his next hit. After finding success, he falls under the sway of a beautiful club owner. Things quickly begin to crumble and go awry, but then Bob will make a comeback, and in doing so, will choose a woman's shoe out of dozens entered. And the winner will sing with him and have her prince. Bob rightly picks Barbara's shoe, and the show goes out on yet another great musical number. Now, a little known fact, it was said that in the movie Black Cinderella is where Sidney Poitier made his acting screen debut. He was cast as a nightclub extra. Now, I'm going to go back and watch this film first just to watch it. But number two, I want to see if I can spot Sidney Poitier in the film as an extra. So things were really starting to look good for Sheila. She was making a name for herself. Her performances were all described as impressive, and her performances were notably known for its subtlety, which was very different from the actresses whose acting performances were known to be a little bit over the top and more theater-based. Sheila was easily coined as a natural on screen and was often compared to Veronica Lake, who was very big during this time. She was compared to Veronica Lake for her refined charm and dreamy expressions. Sheila's popularity had also increased to where she graced many covers of publications such as Jet, Ebony, Our World, and Hue magazine. So not only was she a talented actress and singer, she was building quite an impressive resume. And she was sought after. She had all the makings to be a Hollywood starlet, but instead of this being the beginning of what looked like a promising career, unfortunately, Sheila Guyse never reached her full potential. But why? Well, beyond the beauty, the talent, the lights, camera, and action, was a young lady riddled with sickness. Although she did get to work in some great films and had some great roles, she never could fully reach her potential because she had to turn down so many roles due to being ill. Even at times, taking extensive time away from the industry. It was said that she was starting to audition for big roles and that she even auditioned for the movie Showboat. But the role eventually went to Ava Gardner. Had she had been cast in this role or any big role during this time, it would have probably catapulted her into A-list stardom. But due to her health issues, there were times she could not audition and she had to step away from the roles that she could have possibly booked. Her daughter from her first marriage made a statement that she once found her mother Sheila unconscious with blood coming from her mouth. In 1953, she was diagnosed with stomach ulcers the day after she had accepted a role in the Broadway stage production of Mile High. This caused Sheila to step away from the industry for 5 years. She later returned to the industry in 1958 to record her studio album, This Is Sheila, but her comeback did not go so smooth, and she struggled to regain footing in the industry. And I find this to be very unfortunate because, as we could see, Sheila was very talented. She walked onto stage as a natural and began immediately booking roles. She had a natural knack or a natural charm for the camera. The camera or acting had a natural knack for her. And we see this a lot even in modern day. The way Hollywood has been structured, it's always been about the next big thing. It's about who's hot, who is the now person. We see how talented Sheila was, but because she stepped away, it was almost as if the industry forgot about her. And sometimes, no matter how talented you are, no matter how much you can contribute or how much you have contributed, if you take time away to deal with family, or if you're going to take time away, in Sheila's case, to deal with your health, to try to get your body and your mental back together, or if you have a child or any kind of circumstance that takes you away from the industry for a while, or even if you just want to take a break, a mental break or a break to reset, it does feel a lot like the longer you stay away, then the harder it is to get back in. Because what happens in that gap that you were gone, there is someone new that has taken that spot or your spot, or the world has become fascinated with the new muse. It's very unfortunate that the industry kind of works that way. And it's very unfortunate that even though she needed to step away to take care of herself, when she came back, she did not get the same response as she did when she first entered onto the scene. And I would say even in content creation, when you are creating content, you are being consistent, and then you take a break, it does feel very hard to get that rhythm back going. It does feel very hard to get the algorithm to get back on your side and to start pushing your videos. So it's very unfortunate that you can be the most talented person that can give the best performance. You have a great gift or a great skill, but unfortunately, if you take too much time away, sometimes it can hinder your growth. And that is what happened with Sheila. And unfortunately, her health became an issue and she really did not have a choice. But sickness was not the only thing that Sheila struggled with that stunted the growth in her career. She also dealt with battles of sadness and depression as it relates to her romantic relationships, and at the time, being a single mother, and also a religious conversion. Sheila Guyse was married 3 times. As mentioned earlier, she married Shelby Irving Miller, but it lasted briefly for about a year or so. They had one daughter named Sheila Crystal Miller. Sheila's most publicized marriage was to her second husband, Kenneth Davis. This marriage gained a lot of attention because Kenneth was a white man, and as you know, this was not welcomed during these times. As a couple, they were featured in the article Negro Women with White Husbands in the February 1952 issue of Jet. Guyse and Davis met on the set of Finian's Rainbow, where Davis was a dancer. They married in Philadelphia, but spent the majority of their marriage in Bronx, New York. When asked about her marriage to Kenneth, Sheila stated in an article, "I don't go about looking for difficulties. It took me a long time to decide to marry Ken, but I'm glad I did. We've been very happy. Intelligence and understanding are needed to make a marriage like ours succeed. It takes more than love. You have to have a mind of your own and be able to ignore what the world is saying and thinking about you." As a struggling single mother, she then met Joseph Jackson, a New York sanitation worker who was so enthralled by her that he would sometimes follow her in his garbage truck. After they married in 1958, Miss Guyse stopped performing and became increasingly involved with a Jehovah's Witness Hall in Queens. Sheila's daughter was quoted stating, "It wasn't easy to be a glamorous movie star with people following you for your autograph, and now you're at home making pancakes." She did it, but I don't think it was easy. The couple had 2 children and remained married until his death in 2012. Sheila died the following year in Honolulu from complications due to Alzheimer's disease on December 28, 2013, at the age of 88. So this is a story of Sheila Guyse in a nutshell, but I feel like there is so much more to her story. Some of the things that I do want to know is what kind of sicknesses and illnesses did she have? When did it start? And why was it so chronic? One of the reasons I wanted to do this story, and I do stories like this, is because during the old Hollywood glamour era, there were so many Black actresses that never got their flowers or never reached their full potential, or that never got to play the kinds of roles that they deserved to play and wanted to play due to racial constraints. There are so many stories that I find like this, and I'm like, wow, who's that actress? So many actresses that we should know about that we don't know about that have contributed so much to the industry. Now, we do know actresses like Dorothy Dandridge, even though I think she does not really get her fair just due. But there were so many others out during the times of Dorothy Dandridge, during the time as a Ruby Dee, during the time as a Lena Horne, whose stories have been forgotten about or people just may not have known about them. And in Sheila's case, her being sick a lot of the times did detour her career, but she also did not reach her full potential. I'm pretty sure it's because of the racial constraints, which is why I believe that she decided to partake in the race films, the films that were dedicated to all Black casts. And there is still not a lot of information out about Sheila Guyse. I had to do a lot of research and kind of piece together what I found to make a complete story and kind of put the timeline together. But there's not a lot of information out about her. I couldn't find any old interviews. I couldn't even find any older pictures of her. And sometimes when I would put her name in the search to find an older picture, another actress that was not her would come up. So this information is very hard to find. It's almost as if it's buried or hidden. So I do love doing these type of stories to bring light to the people that I feel may have been forgotten about. But although I could not find a lot of pictures or I could not find interviews, I was able to find the majority of her movies are on YouTube. The full movies are on YouTube. Go and check out her movies and let me know what you think. And if you like this story, then you would love the story of Dona Drake. I did this story maybe about a year ago, whose story is fascinating. A Black woman portraying a Mexican woman and how she used her ambiguity and her multi-talented skills to have a grand career in the entertainment industry. So if you like this story, go check out that story. And as I come across these stories, I'm just looking at Hollywood like, why are we doing remakes when we have fascinating stories right here that have yet to be told. As an actress, I would love to provide myself as a vessel to tell some of these stories and to give a visual to put with the stories of these people. I am so surprised that no one has ever done a movie or a biography on Sheila Guyse or Dona Drake. If I ever become a filmmaker, these are the kind of stories that I would like to focus on and like to tell. They are so relevant, so aspirational, inspirational, and relatable. And these are stories that need to be told. And let me know what you think about Sheila Guyse. Have you heard of her? Did you know of her? And what do you think about her story? Please leave your thoughts and comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching and time traveling with me. And please chime in on if there's someone that you would like me to do a video or story on next. And until next time, I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.